two people in love. A murder and a trial, climaxed by the 10 most breath-stopping minutes you've ever lived. The cast? Tyrone Power, in love with a woman who holds his life in her beautiful hands. Charles Lawton, in the most scintillating role of his brilliant career. Marlene Dietrich, the woman of mystery, a fascinating question mark.
Mrs. Vole, do you love your husband?
Leonard thinks I do.
Well, do you?
Am I already under oath?
We are dealing with a capital crime. The prosecution will try to hang your husband.
Betty, bye. We'd better go upstairs now. Get undressed and lie down.
We? What a nauseating prospect. How did you get hold of these?
What difference does it make so long she gets what's coming to her?
What have you got against her?
Ha! I'll give you something to dream about, mister. Want to kiss me, ducky?
Witness for the prosecution.
Now that is a courtroom drama. Witness for the Prosecution is my number 10 greatest movies of all time from a movie buff. This is directed by Billy Wilder and actually written by Agatha Christie. Came out in 1957 and it stars Charles Lawton and Marlene Dietrich. And it ends with what is, no spoilers here, but what is, I think, one of the greatest spoilers in cinematic history. Before we get too much into this, if you've never seen this movie before, you're not familiar with old movies, I'm going to give you a quick glimpse of who Charles Lawton is and why Marlene Dietrich might sound a little familiar to you. Check out Charles Lawton first.
Captain Blythe! Mr. Christian, look at you, disgrace to the Navy. This is mutiny, Mr. Christian. Mutiny, that is. Avast there, Mr. Christian. Batten down the hatches. Aye, aye, sir. Mend the bowsprit, stow the mizzenmast, jibe the jib boom, hoist the mainsail and lower the tattersail. Look sharp, man. Pike the starboard hatch to leeward, thwart and trim the scuppers on the port poop deck.
And that is, of course, the famous Bugs Bunny. And he's doing a scene from Mutiny on the Bounty, which Charles Lawton starred in. I said before, greatest spoilers of all time. What I meant was the greatest twists. The twists at the end of this thing are worth the wait alone. The movie's fantastic. This is really a great movie through and through. But Marlene Dietrich, now if you're not aware of her, I'm going to show you a little clip of what you'll probably recognize from her. And it's a character from another movie that was kind of based on a character from a different Dietrich movie.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome, come on in.
So that is, of course, Madeline Kahn from Blazing Saddles. And the enunciation, she kind of W's or R's, is based on Marlene Dietrich in a character in a movie called Destry Rides Again, which is going to be in another one of our movies you need to see. It's fantastically funny. It stars James Stewart as well. So both of these actors had big impacts on all of film. They're fantastic. Now, what this movie is really about here is Lawton is a prosecutor, and he comes out of retirement, or this is like his last big case or something, and he's defending a man named Leonard Vole, who tried for murdering a wealthy woman. And then Vole's wife, Christine, I think is her name, is Marlene Dietrich, testifies and turns to testify against him. And that's kind of the first twist, but it's not really, and you think it's going one way and it doesn't, goes another way. I talked about the twist in this movie a couple times already, and what's interesting is the producers of this movie knew this was going to be a big thing. Think The Sixth Sense. So before the movie started playing, there would be an announcement that tells you, do not leave your seats at the end of this movie, or you're going to miss something. And then that's before the movie starts. And then at the end of the movie, it happens again. The announcer comes on and says, the management of this theater suggests that for the greater entertainment of your friends and family who have not yet seen the picture, that you don't divulge to anyone the secret ending of this movie. So it's really crazy. It's a well-done movie. The acting is spectacular. One other little really neat piece of trivia on this is Charles Lawton was considered hard to work with, a bit gruff, comes across that way. In this movie, he wasn't at all. He just loved it. And Billy Wilder, during the movie, was doing some reaction shots with the jury and the people in the courtroom there. And the way that's usually done is that somebody, assistant or something, reads the lines that Lawton would have said. But Lawton just thought it was so cool, and he was part of that and read them himself to get better reactions. And then, if you notice at the nurse that's trying to hustle him off to bed, that nurse is played by an actress named Elsa Lanchester, who is actually Charles Lawton's wife in real life. And I always thought that was kind of interesting how they played off each other, and it's really a sweet kind of addition to the story. This is a 10 of 10 movie. Again, it's not just the acting. It's written by Agatha Christie, and Billy Wilder helped with the script, I guess, or the screenplay as well. So the story is fantastic. The twist. This movie has everything you're looking for, but it's also one that I don't think you could remake this to any effect. It would fall flat. To do it right, you'd have to make it shot by shot, and you'd really have a hard time putting together a cast throughout this movie that's this good. It's one of the reasons one of my favorite movies of all time, The Third Man, I think can't be remade. There was a short time when I thought it could have been, with Christian Bale playing Orson Welles' character, and then Casey Affleck playing Joseph Cotton's character. Those two could have pulled that off with the right director that let them be, but made sure they stayed true to the original. That would have worked. This, I just don't see it happen. Lawton can't be replicated. Just everything he brings to this movie. You're going to love this one. This is one. A lot of people know the movie. They're movie buffs and movie critics all know it. But it's so good. I almost put it on my list also of the greatest movies you need to see that I've never heard of. This is that good. Again, like I've said a million times, in my top 10, they're all perfect, and they're going to be somebody's #1 movie. Hope you love this. Witness for the Prosecution. If you haven't seen it, get this one on Blu-ray if you can. If not, keep your eye on Turner Classic Movies. Try to find this movie and watch it. You're going to have a great time. It's suspenseful, it's funny, and it's got great twists throughout. It's amazing. Okay, our next one is number 9. It was hard to put in front of this one, and I'll tell you why as we get to this one. Let's first watch a clip of that.
Singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. And the sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. Let the stormy clouds chase everyone from the place. Come on with the rain, I've a smile on my face.
Directed by Stanley Donen in 1952, this is, of course, Singin' in the Rain. This is one everybody knows. It's probably most people have even seen it. It's a classic, and everyone knows it because you keep watching it and watching it. It's so good. That iconic scene you just saw is probably the most popular and well-known dance scene in all of film. The Fred Astaire when he's dancing on the ceilings up there, John Travolta dancing in Saturday Night Fever up there. This is a funny movie. It tugs at your heartstrings. It's a classic for all time. And it's as fun to watch now as it was 10 years ago and as it probably was 50 years ago. But there's a lot of interesting things around this movie. If you know the story, it's Debbie Reynolds is Gene Kelly's love interest in this. And the part of Lena Lamont, who's Gene Kelly's character's love interest in the movies, but it's not really. He doesn't like her at all. She's just in love with him for the money or the fame or whatever. She is spectacular in this. And Donald O'Connor is just spectacular in this as well. And I don't think this would have been the great movie it is without Donald O'Connor in that role. Donald O'Connor was actually supposed to be in White Christmas with Bing Crosby. And I like Danny Kaye in that movie, but Donald O'Connor would have been better, and that movie would have been even better. Let's look at a short clip here of Donald O'Connor and Keep 'Em Laughing. I wish I could play the whole thing. I just love this movie. Let's just watch this little short piece real quick.
And Donald Lockwood's an actor, isn't he? But what's the first thing an actor learns? The show must go on. Come rain, come shine, come snow, come sleet, the show must go on. So Reedy, Pagliacci, Reedy.
Reedy, huh?
Yeah. Don, the world is so full of a number of things. I'm sure we should all be as happy as. But are we? No. Definitely no. Positively no. Decidedly no. Short people have long faces. And long people have short faces. Big people have little humor, and little people have no humor at all. And in the words of that immortal bard, Samuel J. Snodgrass, as he was about to be led to the guillotine, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said, be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. You could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you could charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
I am the noblest lady of the court, second only to the queen. Yet I am the saddest of mortals in France.
Why, what is the matter, Missy?
I'm so downhearted, Teresa. My father has me betrothed to the Baron de Lansfield, and I can't stand him.
I can't stand him. It's still one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. So that voice there is a creation of Gene Hagen. So, and again, Debbie Reynolds is supposed to be in the background singing and doing dialogue for Gene Hagen because of Gene Hagen's voice. And that's the whole premise of the movie. Well, the thing is, even Debbie Reynolds in the singing part, that's not Debbie Reynolds. I got the name written down here. It was a lady named Betty Noyes who actually sang. And one of the high notes and taps are dubbed, and there's a spoken dialogue in the same scene. But that is not Debbie Reynolds or Betty Noyes. That's Gene Hagen dubbing Debbie Reynolds, who in the movie is supposed to be dubbing Gene Hagen's character. I don't know why it ended up like that, but I think it's really funny that they were kind of having a little bit of sport of the whole thing, maybe. But excellent movie. It's even the producer of the movie, I can't remember what his name is, not the greatest actor in the world, but he fits this role perfectly. It's a fun movie. It's my number 9 greatest movie of all time. And this is one that I'm sure is on a lot of people's list of greatest movies of all time. And I always thought this probably doesn't rate higher on a lot of lists because it's a musical, it's fun, it's not a serious art film or anything like that, but that's okay. It's, I'm going to tell you right now, my list coming up, because we worked backwards. I wanted you to see my favorite movies first, and then you can kind of gauge, this guy kind of likes the movies I like, and you maybe watch the rest of them. One of my greatest, it's in the back a ways, but is A Christmas Story. It's a fantastic movie. It's on all the time. Why? Because it's so good. It's so enjoyable. Movies are meant to entertain first and foremost. Even when they're meant to educate you about something, or if there's a cause behind the movie, it has to entertain you first. You have to be able to get out of the regular drudgeries of life and be entertained and enjoy the movie. This one does it perfectly. It's a great movie. It's why it's ahead of some of the other ones is it's so well known because so many people like it, and so many people like it because it's so good. So that wraps up the top 10 for us. The rest of the list gets a little bit harder because, boy, are there some still just great movies, and some of them touch of evil with Orson Welles and Charlton Heston you would want to make higher, but they can't all be top 10s, right? So there it is. Hope you enjoy it. Keep watching, and if you like these, if you do the subscribe thing, I think when I do a new one, it'll notify you of that. So again, thanks for watching.